morning, everyone, and welcome to Social Live. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Courtney.
And we have an amazing show for you today. Before we get to our first segment, Get It While It's Hot, I want you to know to stay till the end of the show. We have a very special guest today, Dr. Robbie Ludwig, the author of this incredible book, Your Best Age Is Now. Start sharing this episode for your chance to win a signed copy of the book, and we will get to Dr. Robbie later in the show. And it is time for our favorite segment of the show. We're going to get to it first right now. Get it while it's hot. You may think that summer may be over because it was Labor Day weekend, but
it's not. We actually have, 22 more days? September 26th or September 28th.
22nd.
I got it wrong. Which day is it? My birthday. What's the last day of summer? September 23rd. September 23rd. We got fake news earlier.
Courtney's giving fake news this morning.
And September 23rd is the official last day of summer, so we are going to soak up these last days. And of course, we had to have Tayaki NYC come deliver this cute little
unicorn floaty and taro slush.
Yes.
You can follow them on Instagram at Tayaki. I'm going to spell it for you. It should be on the screen below. Tayaki NYC. They've been trending on Instagram all summer.
I think they should win an award for Instagrammable products. So I had seen all of their fish ice cream cones all over social media all summer. I really, really wanted to get one, but just unfortunately never had the time. And this thing luckily just floated over here today.
Literally floated here. It just floated off the elevator.
I'm excited to try it. So
give it a taste. I'm going to tell you guys.
Describe what I'm tasting right now.
The ice cream and the Tayaki waffles are made from the highest quality ingredients. The waffles are made fresh on site. We're not trying that now, but we do have the soft serve ice cream. It's produced and churned in small batches to preserve the true integrity of how real soft serve should taste. Courtney, tell everyone, does this soft serve have integrity?
I've been tasting all the integrity in the world right now. It is delicious. I can really taste the softness and the realness. It's so good. It's nice and sweet. It's actually...
Does it live up to the hype of how cute and beautiful it is for Instagram?
It does. And when you get your soft serve in a little floaty like this, it just makes it taste even better.
Oh my gosh. It is like...
I know what you're going to say.
Lucky Charms. It is like Lucky Charms.
We know how much you love Lucky Charms, so let's save some for everyone else in the office.
And I think what Tayaki did really well in order to get their ice cream products to trend on Instagram is they made it, as we always say, Instagrammable. People want to go wait online. They're serving 300 to 400 of these every single weekend. Fun fact. And people want to take pictures of it because if it's not on Instagram, didn't happen.
And then when you take a picture of it, your friends see it, and then suddenly you have lines around the block. So restaurants, take notice. This is a really good tactic, and I'm really excited about the floaty. I want to go into a pool now and just put my drink in it.
It's so cute. I think I'm going to borrow it and bring it when I finally go on my summer vacation in October.
Well, then I'm looking forward to seeing this all over your Instagram story. So with you and Greg on vacation.
Well, speaking of the weekend and fun things, I was very excited this weekend on Labor Day when Facebook Watch finally rolled out to everyone in the U.S. We've been talking about this for the past few weeks, and it is finally here. I text Courtney. She was busy in the sun in Miami. I said, Courtney, update your Facebook
everything
app.
that you're doing.
Everything. No, this is
a true
fun
story.
fact, true story. Drop what you're doing. Update your app. Facebook Watch is here. It is time to binge watch all the new episodes of the shows we didn't know anything about yet. So I started watching the first episode of Cultural Capital, and they actually go behind the scenes of businesses that you may know. The first episode I watched was about the company called The Real Real, which I told you know about this company. Yeah. And it's just really interesting. So I'm going to read you some of the other news shows or companies that have shows. So Elle Magazine's producing a show, Wired. BuzzFeed has a show called Try Guys. Pop Sugar has shows, Billboard Music. And then here's one I haven't watched yet, but I'm dying to. I'm going to read you the description. It's Tastemade's Kitchen Little. It's a cooking show that shows kids watching how-to recipe videos, and then the kids instruct a pro chef on how to make the meal. And apparently it's hilarious. So definitely check that out. And you can find Facebook Watch on your phone at the bottom of your, or as Jules would say,
it hangs
out
at the bottom of the navigation bar where users can launch it with a single click. And I was browsing this yesterday, and what I really like about this right now, and we'll see if it stays this way, is that there are no commercials yet.
None yet.
So you can watch all of these great shows and not be interrupted.
For now.
For now.
Because
we'll see.
I'm sure
We'll
they're
see how it
coming.
morphs and how it changes, but so far so good. They've got some really good stuff in here.
Yeah, and I like how there's a wide variety of different types of shows. I think it would be easier, and I'm sure this will be coming. It's only being sorted by popular now, what friends are watching. I want it to be sorted by what type of show it is. Like, is it a comedy? Is it a cooking show? Is it a business show? That would be easier for me. I'm sure that's going to be coming. But Facebook, I know you're watching. Just make those updates just for me. Thanks so much.
All right, and then we have even more YouTube news. So now you can stream live from your iPhone. So it used to be that you could only stream live from your Android. Now you can do it directly from your iPhone. And another big change is now they've lowered the amount of subscribers you need from 1,000 to 100. So we'll be going live next week on our Socialfly YouTube page. And we're really, really excited about this. And I suspect we'll see a lot more live videos. And what's really great is this update for gamers is that now you can actually show people what you're doing on your screen. So you can show all of these live tutorials, and then people can comment and you can interact with them. Really, really cool, and they're capitalizing on the live video trend.
This would have been a really great update for me, like two and a half years ago when I was addicted to Candy Crush and I had to look up all the tutorials. If I could have just watched someone live beating level 87, it would have been a lot easier.
I know. Well, fortunately for us and our business, you got over your Candy Crush addiction.
I did. I quit cold turkey. I've learned that when you have a vice, for me at least, the easiest way to quit is to just do it cold turkey and never look back. I quit Candy Crush, and I never...
She hasn't really had an addiction ever since.
I've never downloaded a game. I've never downloaded a game ever since then. It destroyed my sleep for about 6 months.
And I just have one more YouTube update. So now they have more latency options. So now there's a solution to cut down the delay to just a couple of seconds. YouTube live streamers can choose a new ultra-low latency setting that ensures that their stream is reaching viewers nearly in real time. So this is a really great new update for all the people who are going to be going live. There's not going to be that lag time with what you're saying and what you're seeing on screen. So good job, YouTube. I'm excited for this, and I'm excited to go live next week and test it out.
Awesome. And more breaking news over the weekend. I'm sure most of you have already heard about this, but it was trending. First thing on Monday morning, #Royal Baby. There is another Royal Baby on the way. I couldn't be more excited. Courtney thinks I'm crazy. I know she's making faces at you right now. Jordan is laughing behind the camera. But I don't think there's anything cuter than a Royal Baby and following Duchess Kate's pregnancy over the next 9 months.
I've seen a lot of cute babies. I think a lot of babies are cute. And I don't think you have to be royal to be cute.
I don't think you have to be royal to be cute, but I don't think there's anything cuter than little
with a
Charlotte and Prince George running around in their cute little royal outfits, and then every time they're posted on social media, whatever company manufactured those outfits skyrockets, and a Kate Middleton pregnancy rakes in the money because of social media.
For the brands that she's wearing.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone always waits for the dress that she'll be wearing after she delivers and steps out onto the stairs of the hospital. The sales of that dress go through the roof. I think it's interesting.
I
thinks
know
I'm
that
insane,
you think it's interesting.
And I know it's not just me.
And you're not alone.
I'm
not
not alone.
Not alone.
I am not alone. I am not alone. Well,
but I'm not alone either. A lot of people feel the way I feel too.
This is true. We all enjoy different things.
Exactly.
It's going to be fun for me to follow. I love following Kensington Royal on Instagram and on Twitter. And
whatever puts a smile on your face.
It does put a smile on my face, and it is now time to introduce our very special guest, and we're going to ask her what she thinks about the Royal Baby news and if she follows it.
I have to know.
I'm very curious. So
Which side are you on here?
Please welcome to Social Live, Dr. Robbie Ludwig. I'm going to read you a little bit about Dr. Robbie. She is a nationally known psychotherapist and award-winning reporter, and has been appearing on broadcast media since 1997, so I'm sure she could teach us a few things about our show as well. And she is also the author of the book, Your Best Age Is Now. Be sure to share this episode, and you can win this signed copy. Welcome to the show. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. So great to be here. You girls are terrific.
Oh,
you can teach me.
Thank you.
We'll teach each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well, before we get into talking about your book, because I have to know some of the tips that you put in here, I kind of want to know, how do you feel about the royal baby? Are you excited about it?
I don't know what this means about me, but I was fascinated by the negative backlash for Kate having a third child because of the laws that are going on in England right now, where they're not supporting a third child for families that are in need unless it's, you know, due to a rape or some kind of abusive situation. So there was backlash, and I found that interesting. I don't know, does that make me negative?
No, I didn't even know about that. I heard there was backlash, but I didn't realize that was the reason why.
Well, I was curious to find out, like, what could the backlash be? Like, everybody was so excited about the first two. Are they haters for a third? Like, what's that about? But it has to do with the laws and who gets protected and who gets monies. And there was a feeling like they have money from the state as well, so there was a little bit of negativity.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So aside from that, do you have any interest in the royal baby, just following it for pure enjoyment?
You know, I'm still interested in Princess Diana.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, I loved her. I watched her as a child, and I was really fascinated by her, and still am, and I think the world really is. So she was kind of my first love for the royal family. But of course it's interesting. I'm interested in Prince Harry, and is he going to get engaged?
I know.
But
well, Meghan Markle is doing an interview with
Vanity Fair.
Yes.
Vanity Fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Courtney's just looking at us like, what are they talking about?
I know who she is. I know who she is. I see it all over my social media.
Well, let's jump in. We have so many questions for you about your book, about you. So Your Best Age Is Now is all about empowering women, which is a passion of ours as well. And the book focuses on how women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s are living younger, more vibrant lives, but they're also influenced by our youth-obsessed culture that they fear they'll hit when they hit midlife, and they stop being relevant and no longer have options. So
when you say youth-obsessed culture, do you believe that this is due to the impact of social media?
No, I think this pre-existed social media. If anything, I think social media helped us to be a little bit more accepting of people getting older and aging in a more beautiful way. But I think the fact that we're youth obsessed has to do with the fact that America is such a young country. And so we're kind of stuck in an adolescent mode of thinking that youth is where it's at. And youth is a wonderful time, but so are other stages of life that I think gets forgotten. And we're slowly evolving. I mean, if we're going to be living longer, we don't want to stop feeling like our options, you know, end after 40 or whatever the case may be. Depending on what field you're in.
How have you seen social media really impact our culture, especially over the past few years?
Oh gosh. Well, I think if you're in front of the camera, you certainly can get feedback from your audience, which can be a really positive thing, but it can also be a negative thing because people can be very highly reactive, and there isn't that pause time. So in the old days, it was an email or a letter, and it really can impact people's jobs. So I know that when I'm in front of the camera, and several of my friends and I have said things that people have strongly reacted to, and it wasn't intended to be negative, and it can affect a person's job because companies get frightened about backing people that, you know, someone is having a negative reaction to. And so nobody really cares about what the truth is in some cases, but it can be tremendously positive because I've had connections with people I would never connect with. And so I get to hear feedback in real time, which is very helpful to me as a therapist to know, am I on track? Because I get that in my office as a therapist. But it's not as easy to get when you're in front of the camera. So social media has made everybody in some ways more intimate, and the boundaries that used to exist don't exist in the same ways.
So obviously we love social media here, and we've
Yeah,
created
I
a
love
whole
it too.
business around
Yes.
it. And I was wondering, do you have any tips for female entrepreneurs to find balance and manage their stress between business, relationships, social media, and really just time for ourselves?
Well, for me, it's really simple. I think it's following the fun. And if you're following what gives you joy and your passion, then your life is balanced. There's no such thing as equal balance. And I think that people have more fluid lives these days, so that you want your home life to be happy and your work life to be happy, and not to have necessarily a 9 to 5, because maybe you want to do something that's work related 5 to 11 or whatever the case may be. But if you have people around you that you love and you're lucky enough to be passionate about what you do, then your life is going to feel great in all areas.
I love that. Follow the fun.
Yeah, and I was noticing
one of our values is to create fun.
Because you talk about create fun, and I think that's what it is, and we forget that. We know that as kids, but we forget it as adults. When you're adulting, we think we have to be mature and serious and responsible, and we do. But we also have to remember to keep the fun alive, because that's what makes life worth living.
Absolutely. One of our clients gave us a great piece of advice. He said, in a meeting, you have to be sure you laugh or take time to laugh at least every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because if you're not laughing and having a good time, then what's the point?
I mean, I'm still having fun. I love everything I do. I don't think I could be the happy person if I didn't. And how do I do that? I follow the fun. I kind of always have.
I love it. Do you use that as a hashtag? I feel like you should
know,
own that hashtag.
I really, my first book was about murder. My second book is about midlife. And I'm really thinking my third book will be something around the idea of fun.
I think you should start using that hashtag.
Yeah.
Hashtag follow the fun. I'm giving you.
Follow the fun.
That's your new hashtag.
Yeah.
You have to own it. So you also have an incredible background as a reporter. How do you think that social media has really impacted the journalism world?
Well, I think it certainly affects the stories that we report on, and we know what people want to hear. We know how people feel. It's also changed the dynamics in terms of the newsroom. So just in terms of books, there are not as many book segments because we have those YouTube segments. So social media really is a very important part of what's going on in the news. And we also have to be able to distinguish what's real and what's not real, which is hard sometimes to do. And we have to always remember, just because it's in print doesn't mean it's true. Yeah. And I do think that journalism has changed. When I was in school, the goal was to be as objective as you could, which is very hard to do because everybody has a point of view. Now, the goal to be objective is not as important, although I think it should always be a little bit important to present both sides so that your audience can really walk away from anything that you write having a sense of both sides and making up their own mind.
Would you say it's made journalism easier or more difficult?
I think when you do something well, it's always challenging to some extent. You have to do your due diligence, but I think in a way we have to cut through all the noise. Anyone can say anything at any time, and we get a lot of information from all directions. So it really takes a special reporter or communicator to stand out amongst the masses to be heard in an important way.
And you also have a Facebook Live show.
I do.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the show, and then why did you start using SocialLIVE, yeah. Facebook Live? How did you know it would be something that would be great for your business as well?
I think I just enjoyed watching it, and I was always on as the expert. So I would come on, I'd be the expert, and I didn't have as much control over the people I wanted to find out about, or how I wanted the show to look, or who I wanted to kind of put out there. So this show allowed me to do that, to invite you girls who are going to be on my show, which I'm so excited about. It allowed me also, in some ways, to see my friends who are really busy and to promote all the interesting things that they're doing. So very often my friends are writing books, or they're doing shows, or engaging in important charities. So it was giving people who I felt were doing great things in the city, who I wanted to give an extra platform to. And people are really enjoying it. I like the idea of just having some control. I think that's one thing I never really felt in my career, because I was always being chosen for something and kind of fitting into a mold. And so that's the great thing about social media. If you use it responsibly, and fortunately it came during a time when I could be more responsible than in my youth, because you're really always branding yourself and you're leaving a digital mark. So anyone who uses this platform really has to be thoughtful about the image that they're putting out and what they're communicating, how that impacts both themselves and the people who are watching them.
Tell everyone how they can find your show, how often you're doing it.
Okay, so I'm doing my show once a week on Monday nights, although this week, thank you. This week, for Fashion Week, we are interviewing Stacey London, formerly of What Not to Wear, and she's an author, and she will be joining us Thursday in the afternoon, right before Fashion Week. But usually we're on Mondays at 6 in Times Square, and we have lots of authors we're going to be interviewing, and high-profile personalities, and people who are really game changers. And so I like to have a therapeutic influence, so hopefully people can join my show, be entertained, see great people. It's in Times Square with a fun background, and in the back it's usually like an M&M person, like a cartoon in the background that's a real scene stealer. But we have a great time, and people walk away feeling good, and at the end of the day, I'm a therapist. So I want to put something out there that's useful and makes people feel better, and makes my guests feel better, and so hopefully everybody has a good time.
I love it. Well, we can't wait to be on your show, and everyone can follow Dr. Robbie at Dr. Robbie Ludwig on Instagram and on Facebook.
Right, and you can look up Talking Live, or just look up my Facebook, Dr. Robbie Ludwig, and you'll find me. You can click on it and look for it.
And we'll be sharing
it. Yeah, it's her in our Instagram stories, so you will be found.
Great. I love being found, I think. Usually I love being found.
And if you want a copy of Dr. Robbie's book, you can either purchase it, or you can share this episode to win your signed copy today. We will be picking a winner this week, and this could be yours. Your best age is now. Thank you so much for coming on Social Live today.
For having me.
And thank you everyone for tuning in. We will be back next week at a new time. We're moving from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. So we'll be back every Wednesday at 11 a.m. in our new Socialfly studio, which you'll get to see next week. Very excited. And we'll be back with Jill from The Need to Know next week. More to come. We'll have promos and fun things coming this week for you guys to see. See you next week at 11 a.m. Have a good one, everyone. Bye. Guys.